kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make. Yo, I got a lot of shit to say, so I'ma do this every day. I'll be writing things until I'm fucking very.
I think the president has exhibited that from a diplomatic perspective. He might be the greatest diplomat in the history of our country, what he's been able to do in the Middle East. And I think he's going to take the exact same approach with Russia.
So that's the voice of Brian Kilmeade. They were chatting about President Trump's diplomacy. Really great stuff there. What about the massive drop in Americans who are talking about inflation and the economy? Harry Hinton was on CNN with Sarah Sidner discussing just that.
Matt was mentioning about the econ playing such an important role in last year's presidential election. The top problem facing the U.S. is economic breakout. Last year, look at this, 43% at this time, 43% of Americans said the top problem was economic. Come to this side of the screen. It's just considerably different. We're talking about 24%. We're talking about a drop of near 20 points. And more than that, we're talking about across all of the different political groups, right? Democrats, independents, Republicans. We see that the percentage who say the top problem is economic has been falling through the floor. And more than that, you know, we're talking about inflation. The percentage of Americans who say that the top problem is inflation has also been falling, which is, I think, very much surprising given all the news that we are hearing about the economy.
Wow. But then Harry Hinton continues on, talking about the massive swing on the historical look.
Let's talk about, we'll go through history, right? Let's take a look. The top problem facing the United States is economic. And the average midterm election, it's 35%. It's 35%. Look at where we are now. Again, it's 24%. It is lower. Fewer Americans right now are saying the top problem is economic than historically have said that the top problem is economic. So it's not only that the top problem being economic is lower than we were at this time last year, it is lower than we've historically been, despite all the news about how the economy is supposedly softening.
Wow. Huge swing there. So what about, well, the idea that President Trump is Hitler? This isn't something that we thought of on the right side of the political aisle. In fact, we haven't called anyone Hitler, but the Democrats have. So Nicole Wallace was on her podcast. It's called The Best People. And she was talking to Governor J.B. Pritzker, the Democratic governor of Illinois. And as she's talking to him, she made this absolutely ludicrous and impossible to prove claim.
I haven't suggested that Donald Trump is Hitler. I wouldn't say
I don't think any Democrat has. I actually, and I think it's a smear that they project back on to critics. But J.D. Vance called Donald Trump cultural heroin, called him America's Hitler. I mean, the attacks on Donald Trump as a fascist came from 3 generals who worked for him. I mean, the most brutal critiques have come from people that have seen him far more closely than you or I combined. Except it was a lot of Democrats who have called him Hitler. Nancy Pelosi, Jasmine Crockett, AOC, Kathy Griffin, numerous stars in Hollywood, and then, of course, the elected officials, and then, of course, people in media. It's not even an insult that is rare. It's not something that, the Free Beacon or the Media Research Center couldn't create a mashup of. In fact, I'm pretty sure they already have, of all of the Democrats calling President Trump Hitler. They've done it so much, it's not even a thing anymore. So I'm not sure what Nicole Wallace is talking about. Then you have Senator Dick Durbin. He had a Senate hearing on political violence, and he made another spurious and easily debunked claim.
Violence is not acceptable, whatever the source or origin. I do not believe that one party owns the right to say it's the other party's fault. It is the fault of both parties, differing degrees, and it's our fault if we try to whitewash that reality. To seriously address this problem, we must be honest. We must start with the facts, not with partisan conclusions. To claim, as the chairman of the subcommittee has, and I quote, political violence comes predominantly from one side of the aisle, and don't give me this both sides BS, is not supported by the facts. In fact, those facts tell a different story. For more than a decade, data from the FBI, DHS, and nonpartisan experts show that far-right extremists have been responsible for most domestic terrorism, including most deaths by far. On this chart that you can see behind me, from the Center for Strategic and International Studies, also known as CSIS, terrorist attacks from the right are in red and attacks from the left are in blue. CSIS found that since 2016, 112 people have been killed as a result of right-wing attacks, while 3 have died as a result of left-wing attacks. These are not partisan talking points. They are the facts established by federal law enforcement and national security experts across numerous administrations, both Democratic and Republican.
I mean, where to begin? How about Gavin Newsom just today calling President Trump an invasive species? How about a former View guest demanding that Democrats get on board with assassinations? I mean, do I need to go on? There are so many opportunities where these Democrats have said again and again and again that Trump is Hitler, that Republicans are Hitler, that Republicans have to be stopped. And the words they use when they describe the stopping of Republicans is obviously incendiary language that is meant to invoke a kind of hatred that
That's
results
awesome.
in the kinds of shootings
Yeah, fingers crossed, brother.
we've seen against conservatives. And I don't know if, as he's reading that,
Back
he
on the road.
remembers the name Charlie Kirk when he says only 2 left-wingers have actually killed anyone.
Eggsy was saying earlier.
Which 2 killings is he talking about? President Trump has had now more than 3 credible attempts on his life. But maybe Dick Durbin doesn't count those. What about Justice Kavanaugh? A man drove across the country armed and dangerous and sat outside his house for changing his mind about going in and killing him. And he had plans to not just kill Kavanaugh, but all of the conservative justices in order to swing the court back in the direction of the Democrats. And then there's Stephen Scalise, who was gunned down on a baseball field. He barely escaped with his life.
Oof.
Numerous surgeries, dozens of abdominal
chili
surgeries
sounds
for
delicious,
the most
man, but that's
painful
going to make for a
and
stinky
difficult
cabin.
to conduct surgeries on the human body. And he went through all of those and survived and is still serving.
But it's just you, so.
And he never complains about the change in his life that is a result of all of this. But need I go on? What about the transgender shootings? All of these are leftist, not just Charlie Kirk, but the shooting at the Nashville Christian School. The last 7 mass shootings have been executed by transgender individuals. So is there even a question here? Is there even a question? You can always rely on me to document with the facts. We have to push back on these crazy statements that they're making. All right, we are going to take a break here. 866-957-2874. More to come.
Oh, I'm not even going to make the exit. God dang it.
Mike Slater.
Oh, 3/4 of a
Bloods
mile.
and Crips kill each other in Sacramento in 2022. California passes a bill to ban certain handguns and block a box. Not good. We'll give you details tomorrow. Breitbart News Daily. Weekdays at 6 a.m. Eastern on Sirius XM Patriot 125.
Stop at Sheets real quick.
We are growing, and our
Give me
customers
something
keep
hot
growing
to
with
drink
us.
on. It's
If you
actually
wanna be
pretty
part of a
chilly.
company that appreciates what you do
Yeah.
and rewards you for it.
I'm
You should
47.
check out Creek Carrier Corporation. We're
Rain's
looking for
making it
safe
feel
drivers that
cooler.
have at least 1 year's experience and take their job seriously. Then we reward you with great pay and some real serious benefits. Creek's moving, so check out Creed and Schaefer today. Go to creekcarrier.com and find the right job for you.
Are you ready for fall? We are. From our spectacular Halloween brownie collection to our fall favorite sampler, we've got the richest, most decadent brownies around, ready to send to your favorite people. Hi, I'm Shauna Litsky, founder of Vermont Brownie Company. We've been baking the world's best brownies for almost 20 years.
Hello, do you think it's because
brownie with a cup of cocoa?
I'm using the studio?
Get some for yourself or send as a gift. We make it easy with lots of delicious flavors, including maple toffee crunch, peanut butter, and seasoned.
I haven't tried using just the YouTube app. I'm using Rumble Studio.
That beat Food Network chef Bobby Flay. Our gift boxes ship quickly anywhere in the U.S., arriving in time for Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and Hanukkah. And nothing beats a corporate gift from Vermont Brownie Company.
Oh, yeah.
Customized with your logo and greeting card. We can
Oh,
ship
yeah.
to everyone on your list. Free. All of our
Yeah,
brownies
they
are small.
every other day they send me an email asking me if I want to be monetized again, and I just keep ignoring it.
VermontBrownie.com.
If you're one of the millions,
Why? So I can build up a bunch of money and you can say that I can't have it anymore? Like they did to me before? Fuck them.
Listen carefully. The
What the fuck is this
IRS
taking?
is cracking down, taking paychecks, freezing bank
This
accounts.
isn't the same
revoking
sheets I normally go to.
passports. That's a fact. But here's what most people don't know. There are official tax relief programs designed to help struggling taxpayers. Programs that could save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief. Optima's award-winning team will fight to protect your paycheck,
one more thing
your
that
passport, and
Rummel's
your
getting it
property.
right
Their tax
for.
attorneys and licensed tax professionals will work tirelessly to get you the best deal possible with the IRS. Every day, penalties and interest keep piling up, so don't wait. Call Optima now for a free consultation. Call 800-611-8892.
Thank you for the follow, Rock Art by Sky.
800-611-8892.
On Rumble.
800-611-8892. Optima Tax
I don't even know where
Relief.
this fucking sheets is. It's on, oh, it's on the right side.
Details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com. The right to bear arms.
Religious freedom.
Conservative principles live here. We are Sirius XM Patriot, Channel 125.
We are patriots.
Righteously American. This is Station on the Right on Sirius XM Patriot 125.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Also, in addition to my
And no ad
rankings,
symbol before your
how
name
about
either.
the fantastic and wonderful junior senator from the great state of Missouri, the Show Me State. He actually did a little bit of fact checking of Senator Dick Durbin himself.
I want to point out that the CSIS study that's been
Let me top off my tank.
here and repeated ad nauseum excluded violence and protests from their study.
239? Really?
Ignore Antifa and
Oh, there's
Black Lives Matter riots,
piggy
but
sitting
they did
here.
make an exception for Charlottesville, interestingly. Even using their flawed methodology, CSIS
Cleveland PD.
reported that left-wing violence in
He's not even in there.
paces right-wing violence. Imagine how much bigger that disparity would be if they actually weren't cooking the books. So without objection, I moved to enter into the record an article by Tim Carney explaining CIS's biased methodology.
Yeah, there goes your nonsense points, Dick Durbin.
All right, I'm going to top off my tank and grab a warm beverage. Be right back.
Sure. Hi, Stacey. How are you? I wanted to know the political violence is wrong, okay? But you can
It's open my tank.
And I listen to a lot of right-wing media, and there is
frequent discussion of the
Do you listen
gentleman.
to left-wing media? 1 second. Do you listen to left-wing media?
I am a progressive.
But are you a left-winger?
I'm a progressive.
No.
Believe in-
You said
I
that
believe
you
in
listen to
progressive.
right-wing media. So do you listen to left-wing media? Because if there's a right wing, there has to be a left wing. So let's get our terminology straight before we dive into you debunking me. I'm excited about that. But you said right-wing media, blah, blah, blah. So do you listen to left-wing media, Jay?
If you ask how you want to characterize what I listen to, then that's fine. Okay.
Okay, progressive to what? You said it's progressivism. You said you're a progressive. Progressing to what? Progressing from being a Democrat to what?
To a more fair, a more equitable, and a more just society.
So communism. So you're a socialist or a communist? Which of those two are you?
No, I don't believe in communism. I mean,
socialism. Then you believe in socialism?
No, I believe in like Bernie Sanders, democratizing.
Okay,
we need to socialize democracy so that.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
We don't live in a democracy.
No,
our system of government is Republican. The Constitution in Article 4, Section 5 guarantees the United States, the individual United States, a Republican form of government. This is not a democracy. This is an actual republic. We are a constitutional republic. So all of that aside, because we're way far off.
Argument, Stacey.
No, it's not. The Constitution is not nonsense. Constitution is not nonsense, sir. You can't call in here and say you believe in our country and then say that our Constitution is nonsense. I just quoted the Constitution to you. I didn't write it. I wasn't there. I'm telling you what it said. But you were about to debunk my claim or something that I was saying about the violence, the political violence. So please go ahead with that, because we are at an impasse as far as your definition of words. I believe in dictionaries and meanings, and you believe in whatever you feel. So what's your comment to me?
I believe that democracy is the way that we have instituted that republic. Okay, we have a republic. Yes, we do.
The word democracy does not appear in the Constitution.
So what? We have elections.
No, there is no so what. You either believe in America and our constitutional form of government, or you believe in whatever you think it is, and you're ruled by your feelings, which are of no consequence to me. But the big deal here is that you called into the show. You have a mumbo jumbo system of words and salad that you're using. And you also have failed to debunk me, because I'm still waiting on you to tell me how it is that it's the political violence of the original.
Okay. You referenced earlier the individual who now has been sentenced for going to Justice Kavanaugh's house, right, and possessing weapons. Actually, I don't think he went to his house. He was in vicinity, to be technical. But
he was on
are you
Justice
aware
Kavanaugh's
that
property, sitting outside of his home? Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Then I'll say I was incorrect if that's accurate.
That story was.
Okay, in 2023, when citizen Donald Trump posted what he believed was Barack Obama's address,
sir, this is not about Donald Trump. Yeah, this is not Donald Trump. This is not January. You said you were calling about political violence. You're doing okay. Well, goodbye. Okay, goodbye. So here's the thing. Jay is having a filibuster moment, and he literally just lost control of himself and started going off into Trump derangement syndrome, because what he wanted to do was call here and sound like an intellectual, quote unquote, progressive, and use the word democracy. And that dog won't hunt in these parts. On this program, we will discuss the United States Constitution within the bounds of the document that it is actually written on. That's the Constitution itself, the Bill of Rights, and we will also include the Federalist Papers. Can you quote Federalist 10, Federalist 1, whatever you want to do with the Federalists? Let's get down on those papers. But what we will not do is put words into the Constitution that are not already there. And I wrote a book about how the Constitution works with the Bible and the framework, the original form of representative government that was given by God to the Israelites through Moses, and then how our founders went through many different experiments to land on a representative form of government for us, and how they gave that to us as our heritage. And I certainly will not throw off the heritage of our constitutional republic. It is the finest system of government ever formed, given to us by God, and it is the longest running constitution in the history of nations. We do not have coups, we have peaceful transfers of power, and we are the recipients and holders of that heritage. As such, we need to know what it says, and we need to abide by the confines of what it is. We cannot add to it. We cannot subtract from it. We can only respect and quote and discuss the Constitution as it stands unless we open it up for changes, which takes 3/4 majority, as I think it's 3/4 majority out of all of the states in order to do that. And since that has not yet occurred, we will discuss the Constitution as it is written. Anything more or less than that would be a travesty. And I can't bring myself to do it because I have too much respect for the heritage of this country. Hour 3 is up next. Bobby Barrett incoming. StaceyOnTheRight.com for more.
Running a business is hard. Offering health benefits shouldn't be. That's just the new, future-forward way to do health benefits. No more one-size-fits-all plans. No more unpredictable costs. No more guessing about what your employees want or need. Healthcare plans of the past are broken. So Thatch partnered with Allstate Health Insurance to make offering health benefits simpler and way smarter. Your employees choose the health plan that works best for them, and you help cover the cost with a tax-free monthly contribution. Not only do your employees get better health benefits with Thatch, but your business also gets predictable costs and long-term savings without the headaches of traditional insurance. Thatch and Allstate handle everything from setup to support, so your team gets what they actually need, and you actually get some peace of mind. The future of health benefits is finally here with Thatch. Learn more at allstatehealth.com/patriot and get a $100 Amazon gift card when you complete a demo. That's allstatehealth.com/patriot. allstatehealth.com/patriot.
There's a lot of talk about buying gold these days. With all that's going on, gold is up over 50% this year and still climbing. Experts have always recommended gold as part of your overall portfolio. Some say you should buy gold-related ETFs or even futures or options contracts. But the safest and most trustworthy way is to own pure gold coins, especially the Gold Eagle, the official gold bullion coin of the United States. And the country's most trusted source for gold eagles is Global Coin, a solid Midwest-based dealer with pristine Trustpilot ratings and a reputation for offering the best prices anywhere. Call now to get your 1-ounce U.S. Gold Eagle at the best price in the country. Today's spot price of gold with free shipping, no sales tax, and a 30-day guarantee. Call 833-MINT-MARK now for this special offer. Global Coin. Value you can hold. Trust you can count on. Call 833-MINT-MARK. That's 833-MINT-MARK.
Economic opportunity.
Moral order. Conservative principles live here.
We are
Sirius XM Patriot, Channel 125.
News this hour from Town Hall. I'm Jason Walker. President Trump, Chinese leader Xi Jinping meeting face-to-face in South Korea. Tensions between the two huge economies have been high, but officials from both countries signaling there can be détente. No doubt about it.
We will be having some discussions. I think we've already agreed to a lot of things, and we'll agree to some more right now.
A trail of destruction across parts of Haiti, Jamaica, and Cuba following Hurricane Melissa and her 185-mile-per-hour winds. At least 35 people have died. The U.S. already sending help in to find those who are still missing. Surging demand for chips, and we're not talking potato chips, boosting NVIDIA's bottom line big time.
So much so that the Silicon Valley chip maker is on track to becoming the first $5 trillion company, just 3 months after shattering the $4 trillion barrier.
NVIDIA stock has been on a roll since early 2023. Its shares touched $207.80 in pre-market trading Wednesday, with 24.3 billion shares outstanding. That puts its market cap at $5.05 trillion. Rich Thomason reporting. Federal Reserve cutting a key interest rate Wednesday for a second time this year as it seeks to shore up economic growth by a quarter point to a target range of 3.25% to 4%. Fed Chairman Jerome Powell says Fed governors, though, are divided about what comes next after today's cut. There were strongly differing views about how to proceed in December. A further reduction in the policy rate at the December meeting is not a foregone conclusion. Far from it. Policy is not on a preset course. More on these stories, townhall.com.
Newsmax, you like Newsmax. I like it too. Newsmax has been terrific.
President Trump is right. Millions like you are tuning into Newsmax. You're watching Newsmax on cable. You're going to our streaming channel, Newsmax 2. And you're downloading our free Newsmax app on your smartphones and TVs. Reuters Institute says we're now one of the top news brands in the nation. Every night, watch great shows with Rob Schmidt, Carl Higbee, Rob Finnerty, and more as they expose the big media lies, the Washington swamp, and they're never afraid to talk about faith, freedom, and the values that made us great. Find out why Newsmax is the fastest growing news channel in America. Make the switch today and join our news revolution. Get Newsmax on cable, on streaming, and download the free app today. It takes just seconds to start. Let President Trump know you stand with Newsmax. It's for real news, for real people. Make the switch today. Pyongyang bragging it has conducted a successful cruise missile test one day before President Trump visited South Korea.
North Korea's official Korean Central News Agency says its sea-to-surface missiles flew for more than 2 hours before accurately striking targets in its western waters, adding the weapons would contribute to expanding the operational sphere of the country's nuclear-armed military. The missile firing has come as President Donald Trump visits South Korea. North Korea has avoided talks since nuclear diplomacy fell apart in 2019. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
The death count rising in Brazil, that massive police raid on a drug gang embedded in a low-income neighborhood of Rio de Janeiro, leaving at least 119 people dead. 4 police officers were killed. Most Brazilians have applauded that move to get the gangs out. Breaking news and analysis, townhall.com.
Jesus. Bunch of fucking idiots in there. Oh, wow.
This is Stacey on the Right. Here's your host, Stacey Washington.
Program, your Constitution-loving host, Stacey Washington here. And as you know, it's that time of the week where we get all of our best news and information from one absolutely intrepid reporter from Outkick.com, which is a Fox News property. It's Bobby Barack. He covers media and politics and betting odds and every other
All right,
thing
here we go.
that you don't have time to look up. He's looked it up, written about it, and also cracked wise. Bobby, welcome back to the program.
Stacey, how are you?
You know, I'm doing pretty well. I said I love the Constitution because I believe that words have meaning, Bobby. I really believe that we just get to take the Constitution on its face as what it is. We don't get to adjust it or modify it unless we're actually going to open it up in a constitutional convention and modify it, unless our representatives are going to submit a constitutional amendment and adjust something that's already been passed, something that's part of the Bill of Rights. If we're not doing that, we don't just get to make stuff up as we go along. We're not kindergartners, we're adults, and we are tasked with maintaining this amazing Constitution that we've been left. That's what I want to do. So,
Police station.
I have to get that in one more time.
Just fucking a bunch.
Some people don't believe
Practically
in
was.
God,
Oh shit.
but I still do. I really do, Bobby.
No, I'm 100% with you. And
What the fuck's the stop line? Why is there lights back there? Is it warning you in case you don't see these other lights?
the country has no structure at that point. We're not really a country. We are we are a place where anything can happen. And I think what made America the greatest country ever, which it still so clearly is the Constitution. And I think when you disobey it or disrespect it, you lose what has made us so superior to every other nation on this planet.
I was at Sheets, man. It's a bunch of cops there, though. I'll tell you that. Although there's fucking none of the workers, they all acted like they were baked out of their minds.
If they're moving here because of some
I sat there and listened to it chime for about
such an amazing system, as you just stated so perfectly.
8 minutes with my order. Nobody even walking by to look at the screen.
I don't want to miss anything. And I have to tell you, we're starting off with your,
hey, Brandon.
your sword of truth that you're carrying right here. And there's other stuff too. In fact, a couple of these stories, I read them, and my husband was like, "What are you looking at?" This was over the actually Monday night before I flew out to DC. My husband said, "What are you looking at?" I said, "I am looking at stories that I hope and pray Bobby Barek is writing about this week, because my gosh, I have to hear what he has to say." And you do not fail. You wrote about Don Lemon and Jamel Hill going after Megyn Kelly for her appearance, which I'm still sitting over here thinking, okay, so do my eyes still work? Because Megyn Kelly is still beautiful. See, I mean, did something change? What did I miss?
Look, so I'm going to try to be nice tonight. I think I'm in a pretty good mood. Halloween's this week. I love Halloween. The World Series is awesome. I'm in a good mood. I'm going to try to be nice to Jamel Hill and Don Lemon. But I have to ask, do they have friends? Because good friends will tell you when you're wrong or stay away from something. Did none of their friends or anybody in their inner circle say, if you want to go after Megyn Kelly, fine, but we're going to leave looks criticism out because it's just not a category you are going to win. And Jamel did this about a month ago, and I thought, there's no reason for me to weigh in with my opinion, so I'm going to open up the poll, and I ask my readers to vote.
Hey, friends of code.
According to the Outkick readers, 98.6% said Megyn Kelly was the better looking television broadcaster.
If you're still here, thanks for popping in.
Doing a similar survey comparing Don Lemon's look to Megyn Kelly and seeing what the readers think. I think that's an appropriate way to handle this. I don't know, but that's just me here. But yeah, I would say this. There's not a lot of things you criticize Megyn Kelly over. I'm a big fan of hers. I'm sure there's something. None of us are perfect, but when it comes to looks, I don't think that many serious people are going to go there.
No, you know what? So this is, and I preface my statement by saying this isn't about whether or not you like her commentary, because they didn't even tackle that. Like, as far as I'm aware, what I've seen, they didn't even bother to attack her broadcast style, the podcast style, the appearance of the podcast. They didn't attack the content, the guests. They didn't go through, debunking something that she said that they disagree with, her political viewpoints, her policy stances, whether or not she's hard enough on Trump or too soft, too tall, too short. They only said that she's unattractive. And so if we're just going to go by what they said, because there are things like I sometimes have disagreed with my own self. That's when I come on here and I post a correction. That's me disagreeing with myself here. Earlier this week I said so and so, and now here I am. I'm back, and I have to say, what I was wrong, or this is the information that I said. Whatever. It's a correction. People who are honest and have journalistic integrity.
Thanks, Patrick.
Do that. So I can genuinely say that I.
Thanks a lot, Roy. I appreciate it, bud.
I'm never going to find anybody that I agree with 100% of the time. Megyn Kelly included, but even if this was about my agreement or disagreement with her, that's not what they were talking about. They just simply took off on her looks. And there was something, I don't know, am I misquoting this when he said it's something about the way MAGA women look? Like, basically her look is emblematic of other women on the political right? I'm just, what are they thinking?
Yeah, and here's my advice to the left in this. Let me put it this way. Don't lie. I mean, I get looks are I'm not a fan of Sunny Hopkins, but she's not ugly. I'm certainly not going to pretend she's ugly. No, she's attractive. Exactly, 100%. So I can criticize Sunny Hopkins because I don't think she always comes across as a storm and she's very mean-spirited and nasty, but she's very attractive. So what will be the point of me coming out and saying she's not? All of a sudden, my argument would lose credibility. So I don't think Mr. Lemon and Miss Hill picked up much credibility over this. What did Lemon say? That Megyn Kelly looks like a trans person? Well, Don Lemon is no trans. Of trans people to him are ugly, so I'm not exactly sure how he came to that conclusion based on his previous comments, but I will also say, I don't think Megyn Kelly looks trans. It's odd to me, a very hard argument to make, but I think if you're Megyn Kelly, you have to run with this because the content is such gold.
I mean, I'm almost expecting her to come out with one of those special. Remember when she was, some other time, someone had said something, and it was the women who did the space launch, and then she came out with her and two of her friends, and they did like a space launch where they were in zero gravity, and she posted that to social media, and it was a riot. So, if she does something like that with this Don Lemon content with Jamel Hill, I wouldn't blame her. But I guess the other part about this that really, it doesn't stick in my craw because leftists have no standards and they're very hypocritical. But isn't this the epitome of what would get a person on the right cancel, say someone looks trans? I thought that you weren't allowed to say things like that. Trans women are women. Isn't that what they said?
100%. I mean, let's take Lemon, for example. Can you imagine if a conservative male commentator came out and said a prominent liberal female host was ugly or looked like trans? There would be outrage from that entire side. So why Lemon gets to do that, which I'm not for canceling anybody, I'm not calling for the guy to be canceled, but I do think he deserves to be mocked because A, a really dumb comment, B, I just don't believe him. I think Don Lemon would agree Megyn Kelly's attractive. I don't believe he actually thinks she looks like a man, which I believe is what he says she looks trans. So I'd love to interview him and just say, hey, can you explain where you did that take from? But yeah, you're absolutely right. The hypocrisy is pretty evident here.
Okay, so hear me out. Could it be that, because last week he said that someone on the political left who's a minority needed to go buy a firearm and confront ICE. And we did cover that here on the show. I believe I talked to you about it as well, but it didn't go viral. It's not like it started trending on X that he said that. And maybe should have, but it didn't. So maybe with this comment, he's hoping to trend and that maybe Megyn Kelly will address it. And that would get some kind of like a little bit of momentum going towards him because there'd be a backlash, and so he'd be trending on X. Maybe that's what this is about.
Yeah, I think in all seriousness, you're right. One of the unfortunate things about online content is you are very beholden to your name trending and headlines from the New York Post. And that does result in, I think, people saying a lot of very stupid things because that is how you get engagement. And Lemon has been baiting people for a while now. I remember a couple of weeks ago, he just pretty much came out and said all white men are dangerous, and that there's a real problem with violent white men, although he's married to a white man, and FBI statistics just don't find that as accurate. White men are not the most violent group. Then he had a thing with the guns, pretty much encouraging people to, if law enforcement comes forward, a fire, which is not only dangerous to law enforcement, but also the people shooting. Now you go into this little rant regarding Megyn Kelly's look. So, yeah, I'm sure he is trying to push the envelope to get attention. And he's certainly not the only one, because I think you and I talked about this a couple weeks ago. The only person who consistently trends on social media, no matter what they say, is Candace Owens. And a lot of people are trying to play catch up as a result.
I mean, she could say the sky is blue, and boom, she's trending.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
And that's why I struggle a bit with the criticism also because every single word she says is dissected, which doesn't happen to anybody else. So I feel like I know everything she says because it goes viral. No one else is really doing that, so I still think it's hard at times to compare her to other people. But yeah, I think Don Lemon he just looks like a complete joke. And he also looks inauthentic because we know the Don Lemon that was on CNN. And he got fired and he teamed up with Elon. And remember, there was 5 months there where he seemed like he was moderate and wanted a robust conversation. Now he's pivoted beyond where he was at CNN. Now he's far left Don Lemon. So to me, this all feels like a grift.
It's not working. I mean, I understand that engagement farming involves you either saying something that is absolutely ludicrous to get people to respond and yell at you, or it involves asking questions that they seem kind of banal, but hundreds of thousands of people will answer the question because it's kind of like, I'd rather talk about the top 20 things I've done as an American than sit here and have one more tweet about politics. So those work, but what he's doing isn't working, and I just I know it's supposed to be ridiculous, but he almost would have done better if he picked someone who wasn't genuinely attractive. So he could have said, she's just not attractive to me. And then people would have responded and said, oh, she is to me or she isn't to me, which would be someone, pretty much anybody else besides Megyn Kelly or any other person who used to work on Fox News. Because that is actually the hallmark of Fox News. The female women, the actual women who work on Fox News are to a T always physically attractive in the most conventional way. Like these are legitimately beautiful people. They've been blessed genetically out the wazoo. They're gorgeous. So, I don't get it. And I guess it won't be the last time you and I talk where I'm confused by Don Lemon. He really got me this time because
I was stuck in fucking Sheets for about 25 minutes, so I still got an hour and 40 minutes of a drive home. So thanks for coming in and missing. I'm about to go over to just premium over at Rumble.
Yeah, I think this is not this particular angle with Jen, but Barry White taking over CBS News as the editor-in-chief could be the biggest media story over the next 2 years.
Need some watch time over there.
He used to be pretty liberal as a writer. I think more center-left after COVID. He thought with Israel, the lockdown. She aligned a bit more, I would say, libertarian. The mainstream media turned on her. She launched the Free Press on Substack. Very, very successful newsletter, probably the most successful newsletter. And CBS acquired it for over $100 million. Now she's in charge of CBS News. A little more context, as you and I have discussed, Paramount was acquired by Skydance. Larry Ellison's son, David, is the CEO. And he's viewed as a bit more center-right. So we bring all that full circle. Barry Weiss is now in charge, and according to reports and people with knowledge of the situation, her first 2 moves, one was to reach out to Brett Baer to be the lead CBS anchor. His contract runs through 2028, and he said this week he's happy at Fox News, so he's locked up. Now she's going after Scott Jennings, who has made a name for himself over the past year as the only openly conservative commentator at CNN, probably their most viral talent. He often spars with liberals and Abby Phillips' show, and Barry Weiss is interested in bringing him over. And I think that gives a pretty good glance into what she wants to do with CBS News, which I think if you look at someone like Brett Baer, Scott Jennings, I think center, moderate right is her plan.
I'll see you over there.
News,
I'm going to go ahead.
Very successful.
It could be very successful.
If you don't have a premium membership over on Rumble, hop over there and I'll get you one. Anybody else is watching, I'll give give you guys about 5 minutes.
Beneficial for her.
Click on the link in the description.
It stands to
The Linktree link.
That she would see her opportunity at CBS News to make CBS not just a shell of what it once was, not to move it into the zone of what it once was, but to make it better and to lead the way. CBS would be far ahead of ABC and NBC. It would be the only channel that people would want to watch, and it would actually compete with Fox News if it had regular people on it, and if everyone else who was still there, whoever's left, I think it's unslashing. I saw the story today. Oh my gosh, she's been out there swinging her hammer on the streaming side. People are gone. Whole shows have been cut out. When she gets done remaking it, if it looks anything like a traditional news outlet, meaning something from 25 or 30 years ago, but with her particular spin, because the free press writers, if you want to understand their